Cool. So you'll be pleased to know it's a nice and gentle start today. So we're going to start sat down. You can either have your knees, sit on your knees or cross-legged or wide-legged. And to start with, we're just going to take our ear towards our shoulder. So left ear towards the left shoulder. And then maybe take the right hand away from you and stretch out through the fingertips. So you really feel a stretch down the side of the neck. And just take 3 really deep breaths as you're relaxing the right shoulder down, stretching out through the right fingers and just enjoying that stretch down the neck. Then gradually bring the fingers to the floor and just bring the head slowly back up to center. Maybe roll the shoulders back a few times. And then take right ear towards the right shoulder. And then take the fingertips away from you and stretch out through those fingertips. And really relax the left shoulder down on this side. So we're really concentrating on that stretch into the side of the neck. And then take 3 deep breaths here. Hey, Emma. We're just doing a little neck stretch. So just join in when you're ready. Okay, so then bring the fingertips back, bringing the head up to center. And this time we're just going to take the chin down towards the chest, interlock the fingers and take the fingers towards the back of the head. So as much as our chin is touching our chest, press the head up into your fingers. So you're really getting a nice long stretch down the back of the neck. Couple of breaths here. And releasing the hands, lifting up the head. Couple of rolls in the shoulders again. And then this time, relax the shoulders down, nice straight back. Just gently look up towards the ceiling and raise the chin. So we're still keeping a nice long neck, no crunching in the back of the neck. So a really long extended neck, but the chin is up and we're looking up. And take 3 deep breaths here. Then pull the core in and just bring the head back to center again. Then starting to make our movements a little bit bigger. We're going to inhale the arms up above the head. Pause for a couple of times at the top. And then exhale, hands back round towards our sides. Pause a couple of moments. Inhale, arms up. Pause at the top. Exhale, round to the sides. Then inhale up. Pause at the top. Exhale out to the sides. Inhale up. Pause at the top. Exhale out to the sides. Inhale up. Pause. Exhale out. Inhale up. Pause. Exhale out. Excellent. Then moving into our twist. So inhale the arms up. Exhale, twist around towards the left. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist round towards the right. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist right. One more each side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, arms up. And then exhale the hand back down the center. Good. And then moving into the lateral body. So take the left hand out to the side and place it on the floor. And then inhale the right arm up and over, keeping the armpit open towards the ceiling. And really grounding down through both sit bones. Couple of breaths here. Really reaching out the feet through the fingers if you need more of a stretch. And you can also bring the elbow down closer to the floor if you need more of a stretch. Pulling the core in, come up through center, and then move over to the other side. Just notice how one side differs from the other, keeping that armpit open towards the ceiling, stretching out through the fingers and really grounding down through those sit bones. Excellent. Coming up through center, we're going to do a few moving from one to the side. So inhale at center, exhale over towards the left. Inhale through center, exhale over to the right. Inhale through center, exhale left. Inhale through center, exhale right. Inhale through center, exhale left. Inhale through center, exhale right. Beautiful. Coming up through center, turning our legs around, we're going to come up into tabletop. So knees directly underneath your hips. You can either have your feet down or your toes tucked, whatever is more comfortable for you. And wrists just slightly further forward of the shoulders, so there's not too much pressure in the wrists. Any problems with the knees, you can put a cushion under your knees or fold your yoga mats over so you've got a bit more cushioning. And just a few rounds of cat-cow. So start by inhaling, dropping the belly down towards the mat. Sit bones go up and we gently look up. And then exhale, so you curve the tailbone under, arch up through the spine, drop the head. Inhale as you come down. And then exhale as you go up. Making the movement match your breath. So inhale as you come down, sit bones up, look up. Exhale as you curl the tailbone under, arch through the back, drop the head. Inhaling as you move down. Really making the inhale last the whole movement. And then exhale as you go up, making the exhale last the whole movement. Then coming back to neutral. Take a nice big inhale at center and then exhale, look around towards the right hip, really making a C shape with the spine. Inhale back to center, exhale, look around towards the left hip, making C curve on the other side. Inhale to center, exhale one way. Inhale through center, exhale the other way. Inhale through center, exhale one way. Inhale through center, exhale the other way. And coming back to center, take the elbows down onto the floor. And if you can, stretch the chest down towards the floor. You can walk the fingertips away. Equally, if that's too much, then stay on your elbows. But the real important thing here is to keep the hips high and to really melt the chest down towards the floor. If you can come onto your forehead or onto your chin, but just really concentrate on that chest extending. 3 deep breaths here. And gently lift the head, coming back onto the elbows, walking the hands back in and bringing the hands back up into tabletop. Stretch the right leg out behind you and then cross it over the left and drop the toes down towards the floor. Take a nice big inhale. On the exhale, look around towards those toes. Feeling a nice juicy stretch down the right hand side. 3 deep breaths here. And take a nice big inhale, bringing the head back to center and lifting that back foot up. And then bring it all the way around the side and to the front, so it's on the outside edge of your hands. Drop the hips down. Any pain in the back knee, you can lift the back knee, so either have the knee grounded or up, it's up to you. Keeping the left foot hand on the floor, open up through the right arm, so you're twisting towards your front leg. And take 3 deep breaths here. Really stretching out the left hip flexor, really feeling the stretch in the right glute. Lifting up through those top fingers, stretching that back leg out. Excellent, and bring the top hand back down towards the mat. If the back knee is lifted, place it back down. And then take the front leg all the way back, so we're back in tabletop again. And then let's do the other side. So take the left leg out behind you this time, nice and strong. Cross it over and drop the toes down towards the floor. And then look around towards those toes, so you get a big stretch down the right hand side body. 3 really big deep breaths here. And as you inhale, bring the head back to center and lift the leg. And then bring it all the way around the side. Drop the foot down onto the mat next to your hands. Ground down through the right hand and open up through the left arm. So we're coming into a twist on the other side. Twisting towards the front leg. And you can take the same option with the back knee. Either leave it down or you can step it up. Really grounding down through the feet, feeling the stretch down the front of the right hip flexor this side, feeling the stretch into the left glute muscles, really reaching up with the top fingers. Couple more breaths here. Then float that top hand back down towards the mat. If you have the knee lifted, drop it back down to the mat and then take the knee back to tabletop. So really grounding down through the hands and through the knee here. We're going to squeeze the right knee in towards the tummy and then take it out to the side. So we're really circling through the hip all the way to the back and then bring that knee through and squidge it into the tummy. So we're trying to keep the pelvis as still as possible throughout this whole movement, so all the movement is coming from the hip. So really squeeze it in, take it out to the side, keeping that pelvis nice and still. Take the knee out to the back and then bring it back down again. Then we'll do 3 on the other side. So once you've done 3 complete revolutions with the right hip, ground down through the hands, the right knee, and then squeeze the left knee in. Take it out to the side, again, trying to keep that pelvis as still as possible. Take the knee round towards the back, squeezing the glute, keeping the pelvis still, and then squeeze that knee in towards the tummy again. Take it out to the side, all the way around the back. And then bring it back in for the last one. Squeeze it in towards the tummy, trying to keep the pelvis still. Take it out to the side, all the way around the back, and then back into tabletop. And like many of you, it's time to take my jumper off. I just saw a mass undressing across most of the screens on the laptop. Excellent, well done. So just come up onto your knees, give your wrists a little squeeze. We're just going to do a couple more in tabletop and then move on to some stuff on our feet. So coming back into tabletop and knees underneath your hips and your hands slightly forward of your shoulders. Really ground down through the left leg. And then keeping the pelvis as still as possible, take the knee out to the side, so like a fire hydrant. And then see if you can stretch the leg long and then take it back to a fire hydrant. Stretch it out long, take it back to bent. Stretch it out long, take it back to bent. Brilliant, put that back down. Take the other leg out. So we're moving the knee straight out to the side, then kicking the leg long, bending the knee, kicking the leg long, bending the knee, kicking the leg long, bending the knee. Excellent. Put it back down. This time, we're getting into all these muscles around our glutes today. So lift the leg out behind you, bend the knee, and then we're taking the foot straight up towards the ceiling. So inhale it up, exhale it back down. Inhale it up, exhale it back down. Inhale it up, exhale it back down. Then switch to the other leg. So put the right knee down, take the left leg out, bend the knee up to the ceiling, and then inhale it up as far as you can, really squeezing the bum muscles. Exhale it down. Inhale it up, keeping the core strong so the back is protected. Exhale it down. Inhale it up. Exhale it down. Excellent. Put the knee back down. Last one. I'm going to come this way so you can see what I'm doing. So everybody knows the normal one where we take the left arm, or to you it's going to look like the right arm and the left leg out. Take a nice big inhale at center, then exhale, we're coming into cactus arm and fire hydrant leg. Inhale it long, exhale it bent to the sides. Inhale it long, exhale it bent to the sides. Excellent, put the hand down. Remember, you can rest at any point. You need to rest and modify if you need to modify. Let's go to the other side. So left arm out in front and the opposite leg. Nice big inhale to stretch. Exhale, cactus arms, fire hydrant leg. Inhale it straight. Exhale, bend. Inhale straight. Exhale, bend. Excellent. Put the hand down, put the knee down. Have a little rest in child's pose. So in child's pose, you can either have knees together or knees apart, whatever's more comfortable. And you can either bring your arms around by your feet, or you can keep them out in front, whichever feels more restorative. Couple more breaths here. Then pushing up onto your hands, coming up off of your heels, realigning your knees so they're nice and straight if you're in wide leg. Tuck the toes and push up into downward facing dog. So bend the knees a lot to start with and really think about elongating from the wrists all the way up to the sit bones. Really long spine. Chest coming through towards the thighs. Couple of breaths, and then start wiggling and jiggling in your dog. So maybe try and straighten your legs a little bit. Maybe try and put one heel down to the floor, maybe the other heel down to the floor. Maybe both heels down to the floor. Maybe moving through the shoulders, nodding or shaking the head, letting any tension out of the neck. And then coming up onto your tiptoes. Tiptoe your feet all the way forward, coming up onto your fingertips if you need a bit more space, until you're at the top of your mat. Really ground down through those feet, bend the knees a lot, and let your body hang on your upper legs. Giving the head a little nod, giving a little shake. You can come onto the backs of the wrists if that feels nice. Or take the hands around the backs of the heels if that feels more grounded. Couple of deep breaths, just allowing the upper body to be supported by the upper legs. And then very, very slowly, keeping the legs bent to start with, just gradually roll the spine up, bone by bone by bone, with the head coming up last. Rolling the shoulders and releasing the shoulder blades down the back of the body, letting the hands come forward, making sure that we're standing up tall, lifting up out of the waist. Nice big inhale here. Exhale the hands down through the center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down through the center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down through the center. Good. Then inhale the arms up. And then exhale, fold forward all the way to the front of your mat. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Step back with the left leg. Really grounding down through the front leg and maneuver that leg if you need to. We're going to take the back knee down towards the floor. We're leaving the left hand on the mat. I find it more comfortable to untuck the toes, but you can keep the toes tucked if that's comfy for you. Bring the right hand onto the right knee, and then just gradually wing that knee out to the side so you get a stretch down the inner thigh. I come this way as well, you'll be able to see better. So taking that knee out to the side. If you want more, you can lift the back leg and increase that stretch. But again, it's up to you. Work with how your body feels this evening. Trying to drop the hips into the stretch. Might be more comfortable to come onto the outside edge of the foot. And it doesn't have to be static. You can have a little bit of movement whilst we're in this stretch. Excellent. Bring the knee back into the center. Bring the hand to the outside edge of the foot. Tuck the back toe and step all the way back to downward facing dog. Coming forward into plank. Take the knees down to the floor. Take the chest and the chin down to the floor. And then scoot forward into a baby cobra. Bring the elbows down underneath the shoulders so that we come into Sphinx. Bend the knees up towards the ceiling. Excellent. Take a nice big inhale. Neck stays nice and long. And on the exhale, see if you can just lift the knees slightly off the floor. Inhale them down. Exhale them up. Inhale them down. Exhale them up. Excellent. Bring the toes back down to the floor. Place the hands underneath your shoulders and then push yourself back through a moment in child's pose and then up into downward facing dog. Then tiptoe those toes all the way towards the front of the mat, really pulling the core in. And then when you get to the top of the mat, bend the knees a lot. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then inhale all the way up to the top of the, Exhale, hands back through heart center. Good. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. exhale, fold. Right leg this time. So take the right foot back, maybe wiggle the left foot forwards. So we're coming into a high lunge. If you prefer to drop the knee, ground down through the right hand and push the left knee out. So you're winging the left leg out this time. If you want the extra stretch and you want to be up off of the back knee, then feel free to do that too. So you might feel this in the inner thighs, you might feel it in the glutes, you might feel it in the IT band. It's going to be different for everybody depending on how we use our body and where our tightnesses are. Again, you don't have to be static in the pose. You can bounce the hips. You can gently press the knee out. It's more comfortable for me to wing onto the side of my foot, so feel free to do that. And then centering that knee and taking the left hand to the mat. Step all the way back into your downward facing dog. And just have a little bit of a wiggle and a jiggle there. Excellent. Making sure you've got a long enough dog. Come forwards into plank. Take the knees down onto the floor. Keeping the elbows close to the sides. Take the chest and the chin to the floor. And then scoop forward into cobra. Really opening up through the chest. And then bring the elbows down onto the mat underneath the shoulders. Bend the knees so the feet go up towards the ceiling. Take a nice big inhale, pulling in the core, and on the exhale, squeeze the bum and lift the knees. Inhale them down, exhale, squeeze them up. Inhale them down, exhale, squeeze them up. Inhale them down, exhale, squeeze them up. Excellent. Take the feet back down to the floor and bring the hands beneath the shoulders. Press yourself up into child's and then on and up into downward facing dog. Coming right up onto the tiptoes. Do a little walk all the way towards the front of the mat. Coming up onto your fingertips if you need more room. Then when you get to the top of the mat, bend the knees and let the body hang over the thighs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. Excellent. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Take the left leg back, making sure you've got a nice big step. This time take both hands to the inside edge of the front foot. You can keep the knee raised, or if it helps you more with stability, you can pop the back knee down, so whatever you feel more comfortable with. And this time we're going to encourage our body down towards the floor. So we're all going to have different levels of flexibility here. You might be able to get a little bit closer. You might be able to get one elbow down. You might even be able to get two elbows down. I certainly can't do that today. But just allow your body to come down, really stretching through the left hip flexor, really stretching into the inside of the right hip. Excellent. And then pushing the ground away, aligning your hands either side of that front leg. Take that front leg all the way through and up towards the ceiling. Bend at the knee and then do 3 big circles through that hip. And then once you've done 3 circles, take the circles in the other direction. And when you finish the circles, take the leg up as high as you can reach it. Bend at the knee and open the hip up towards the ceiling. So we're getting a really good stretch through the psoas muscle. Really imagining your toes going over the back of your body and just tickling your left shoulder. Two more deep breaths here. Then leveling off the hips, stretching up that toe, bringing it down to the floor. And then bringing the hips forward into plank, either do knees, chest, chin, or come down through chaturanga, and then into cobra or upward facing dog. Nice big inhale in whichever you've chosen. And then exhale, come all the way back down onto the mat and stretch the arms straight out in front of you. This time we'll lift opposites. So take a nice big inhale. On the exhale, lift your left arm and your right leg, keeping them long and keeping them strong. Inhale them back down. On the exhale, lift the right arm and the left leg. Inhale them down, switch to the other side. As you exhale, inhale down, exhale, switch the other side. Inhale down, exhale the other side, up. Inhale down, last side, exhale them up. Really squeeze those bum muscles. Inhale, hands down. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders and then press yourself up into child's pose, tuck the toes and come all the way up into downward facing dog. Either come up onto your tiptoes and do a little walk to the front of your mat, or bend the knees a lot, look forward and do a little hop to the top of your mat. It's up to you. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees and inhale all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Then we'll do the other side. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend the knees, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards. So taking the right leg back this time, so the left leg is at the front of the mat. Bringing both hands to the inside edge of the foot. Either drop the back knee or keep it high, it's entirely up to you. And then start to lower the body down towards the mat as much as you can. So really feeling the stretch down the right hip flexor, really feeling the stretch in the left leg. It might be in the hamstring, it could be in the IT band, it could be in the glute. As it was on the other side, it's going to be different for all of us. Couple more breaths here. Noticing how it's different this side to the other side. And then pressing through the hands, bringing them so that they are equal distance at the front of the mat. Really press down through the fingers and then take the left leg all the way through and up towards the ceiling. Bend at the knee, do 3 circles into that left hip. Really, really big circles, getting into the full range of motion that you have in that hip. And then taking it in the other direction. So 3 big circles. And then stretch that leg all the way up to the ceiling, as high as you can get it. Bend at the knee and open the hip up towards the ceiling. Really stretching the left toes over the back this time, so that you're trying to tickle your right shoulder. Check in with the shoulders, try and make sure they're still level. And really come up onto the toes of the standing leg if you want to increase the stretch down the back of the hamstring on that leg. Couple of breaths here. Excellent. And bringing the hips back to level, stretch up through that top leg and bring it back down onto the mat. A couple of steps in your downward dog. And then come forwards into plank. Bringing the knees, the chest and the chin to the floor, or really make your plank strong and come down through chaturanga. Then either into cobra or up dog. Making sure the shoulders are relaxed down the back, stretching the chest forwards. Then come all the way down onto your mat, stretching the arms out in front of you for our opposite lifts. So take a nice big inhale. As you exhale, lift left arm, right leg. Really stretching through the fingers and the toes. Holding the lift for a little bit longer this time. Squeezing the core, squeezing the glutes, squeezing all the muscles around the arm and the leg. And then drop them back down. Nice big inhale. Exhale, lift right arm and left leg. Really stretching through the fingers, stretching through the toes. Pull the muscles of the core in. Really squeeze the glute muscles. Make sure the arm muscles and the leg muscles are tight. One more breath here. And then release onto the mat. Nice big inhale. Exhale, lift left arm, right leg. The head can either be down here or it can be up too, whichever you feel helps you with the pose more. Stretching out through the fingers, stretching out through the toes. Engage all the muscles, squeeze the core, squeeze the glutes, lift it a little bit higher, and then relax it back down to the mat. Restorative breath in the middle. Nice big inhale again. Lift right arm, left leg. Really stretching through the fingers, stretching through the toes, squeezing all the muscles around the limbs, pulling the core in, squeezing the bum, lift a little bit higher. And then exhale, release down onto the mat. Well done. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes, and push yourself up and back into child's pose. Couple of breaths here. Really stretching the fingers out, stretching through the back. Then come up onto your hands, tuck the toes, push up into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, you can either walk or wiggle to the front of your mat, or take a nice big bend in the knees, look forwards and do a little hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees and inhale all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Good. So you'll be pleased to know we're onto our feet now. No wrists for this bit. So because we're really wanting to get into our glute muscles, we're going to sit down in our chair, but instead of opening our chest, today we're going to allow the body to lean forward a little bit. So we're still sitting back, we're still keeping our knees safe so we can see our toes in front of our knees. But this time we've got our chest slightly forward than what we'd normally have it. This allows us for when we do the movement, so we're going to ground down through the left, step the back leg back, step it out to diagonal and bring it back. It means that the supporting glute on the left side is really engaged because our body weight is forward. So we're going to do that leg again. So we step the toe back, we step the toe to a diagonal, and then we bring it back to the starting point. We step it back, we take it to a diagonal, really squeezing that left bum cheek, and then we bring the foot back. Last one, we take it back, we bring it to a diagonal, really squeeze, and then we bring it back to center. Good, stand up, give your legs a little kick, and then we'll move to the other side. So first of all, really ground down through the feet, and then sit your bum back in your chair with your body tilted forwards. Really ground down through that right leg. Take the left leg back, take it out to the side, and then bring it back to the starting point. Take it to the back, really firing up the right glute, take it to the side, bring it back to the starting point, take it back to the side, to the starting point. Good. Standing up, giving those legs a little kick. So the next one, you can either do what we've just done, exactly the same, or if you can touch your hands to the floor, it doesn't matter if your legs are a bit bent, we're going to support our hands on the floor, taking the right leg out behind us into a standing split. We're going to curtsy to the outside edge of the calf and then inhale it back up again. So you exhale down into curtsy, inhale it back up, exhale into curtsy, Inhale it all the way up. Exhale into curtsy. Inhale it all the way up. Excellent. Bring that foot back down to the mat. Take the left foot up. So really lift it up as high as you can to start with, and then exhale into a curtsy. So the knee comes to the outside edge of the calf. Inhale it up. Exhale into curtsy. Inhale it up. Exhale into curtsy. Excellent. Inhale it up, and then bring the foot back down onto the mat. Right, the next one, I'm going to show you two options. The first option, I'm going to show you this way so it's easier for you to see what's going on. You're on hands and knees. You take the leg out to the back, bend the knee up, and bring the foot around as much momentum as you can find in your hip. So you're taking it out and then bringing it around. The second option, if you're quite mobile, is on your hands, the one that I did in the video earlier, if anybody saw that. We're trying to keep our legs straight in this version. So you take your foot up into standing splits, you open your hip, and then you try and keep the leg as straight as possible as you bring it all the way around and back to the floor. Then you do the other leg. So keeping it as straight as you can, really using that bum muscle. We're getting into the sides of the bum muscle that we don't use very often, and then bring it back to the mat. So choice is yours. You can either do it on your knees or you can do it standing. We're going to do 3 on each side. So pick your poison. Let the head be really comfortable so the neck is nice and long. And then let's start with the left leg. Really stretching it out behind us. And then really getting into the whole movement that we have in that hip. And bringing it back. Let's go for round 2. And finding muscles I never even knew I had. And then for the third one on this side. And then press that foot down into the mat and go for the other side. And just notice whether one side is easier than the other. Let's do round 2 on this side. Good. And then the last one. Excellent. And then wherever you are, we're going to come into frog. So you want to be sideways on your mat for this one. And there's lots of different options. Any problems in the knees, you want to make sure that your knees are nice and supported. So with frog, again, it depends on your anatomy as well. I prefer to have my toes pointing out. You can have your toes pointing in. Is that difficult to see from there? Yeah. I'll come forwards. So with frog, you want your knees to be a little bit wide. I prefer my feet to be pointing out to the sides like this. That's traditional frog. Some people's anatomy just doesn't allow that, so you can point your toes instead, but then I find it really uncomfortable on your knees, so have a little play. And then we want to take our hips back, and if we can, come down onto our elbows. So if I go to the side, I've got my legs in frog, I've got my knees as wide as they will go, my feet turned out to the side, and then I bring my hips down and I come down onto my elbows. So this is a really, really deep stretch for the inner thighs and the inner hips. And we're going to take 10 deep breaths here. So don't go too deep too soon, because you want to have a little bit of space in the pose. The other thing that you want to just have a little check in with is trying to make sure that your ankles and your knees would be above one another if you were stood up. So your shins should kind of be parallel to the ends of your mat. And just play with bringing your hips forward, taking your hips back. Bringing your hips forward and taking your hips back.
Just see how that changes the stretch around all those muscles connected on our inner legs.
If you need to rest the head down, you can rest the head down. Excellent.
Couple more breaths.
And then gradually use your hands to press your body up. We obviously are not going to just sit straight back up. So use your toes to bring your knees further in. So you're gradually walking your way back until you can sit back. Excellent. Then we're going to come down onto our backs. So wiggle yourselves around. Come all the way down onto your backs. So the feet want to be facing, the toes are facing the end of your mat, so your feet are parallel. Lifting the right leg up towards the ceiling, bend it at the knee and cross the ankle over the left thigh. Then pressing the palms down onto the mat. Take a nice big inhale and exhale the hips up. Really squeezing the hips up, allowing the knee to fall open. Allowing the hip to stretch. Hold it here for a couple of breaths. And then exhale the hips down onto the mat. Then take the arms straight out from the shoulders. Keep the legs in exactly the same position and roll over towards the left until the foot comes down towards the floor. And then look out over your right shoulder. Just coming into a gentle figure four twist. Couple of breaths here. And bringing the head back to center, pull in the core and roll the hips back down onto the mat and untangle the legs. Take the arms back down by the sides, palm face down, lift the left leg up towards the ceiling and then cross the left ankle over the right knee. Take a nice big inhale and on the exhale, lift the hips up, really squeezing the glutes, opening the hip as much as you can. Couple of breaths at the top, really being strong in this posture, pressing down through the palms, squeezing the glutes, pressing down through the foot, opening up the top knee. And then roll the back down onto the mat. Take the arms straight out from the shoulders, so out the way, and then roll the legs over towards the right until the foot comes down onto the floor. And then look out over the left shoulder. Oh, excuse me. Really allowing the breath to relax in this pose. Then bring the head back to center, really pulling the core in and roll the hips back down onto the mat. Untangle the feet, take the left leg out long and take the right leg up towards the ceiling. Lift the arms up and hold on to that leg somewhere, whether it's round, low down the leg, whether it's behind the thigh, whether you can reach further, but make sure that your shoulders and your head can come back down onto the mat. So wherever you hold it, you want your head and your shoulders to be relaxed. And then just play with flexing the foot and pointing the toe and see how that changes the stretch on the back of the leg. Nice big inhales and exhales. Maybe pull the leg in a little bit nearer if you can. Really flex through the other leg so that the left leg is strong and on the floor. And then release that leg back down to the floor. And bring the left leg up. Lift yourself up and grab around the leg somewhere, wherever is comfortable. And then roll back down onto the mat so that the head and the shoulders are back down on your mat. And play with flexing and pointing the foot of the left leg. Just seeing how this side may differ to the other side. Feeling that stretch on the back of the leg. Really making the right leg strong and then seeing if you can pull this left leg in a little bit longer. Keeping it nice and long, keeping the muscles strong. And then release that leg down onto the mat. Good. Gently doing a little bit of a rock and a roll. We're just going to come up into seated for a moment. Give yourself some space. Take the right leg up and tuck the foot over the left leg. You can use your hands here to support yourself. So we're basically doing a seated pigeon. If the stretch isn't big enough, you can always walk the bottom foot in and then straighten up through the back again. So work with wherever your body is at today. You want to make sure that both of your sit bones are on the floor and you want to be able to press the floor away so the back is nice and long. And again, you might feel this stretch in a whole myriad of places because our bodies all have tight spots in different places. For me, it's down the back of my leg on this side and into my glute. So maybe have a wiggle from side to side. Have a few deep breaths here. And if you feel like you might be able to move the bottom foot in a little bit further, then have a play with that. Move it in a bit further, have another little wiggle. Excellent. Then take a bend in the arms, take the bottom leg out long, keep the top leg bent over, and then hug around towards that leg. So we're just in a seated twist. So really hug that leg in, sit up nice and tall with the spine, and twist around over your right shoulder. Good, couple more breaths here. Then bringing yourself back to center, untangle the legs, bring the feet to the mat, and then cross the left leg over the right leg this time. Place the hands down on the mat behind you, bring the bottom foot in slightly, and come into seated pigeon on the other side. Again, having a little rock if you need to. Really trying to send the breath deep into the hip and the glute. And notice how this is different on this side. On this side, the stretch for me is actually in the inner hip. It's more of a compression and a stretch than the other side. And then if you can move the bottom foot in a bit more and increase that stretch, then give it a go. Really sending the breath into the glute and the hip that side. Excellent. And then straightening out the bottom leg, bringing the left foot to the mat. We're going to turn around towards the left this time. Really sitting up nice and tall. Inhaling deep into the belly and twisting around over the left shoulder. And inhaling, come back to center, untangle the legs, and then roll the spine all the way back down onto the mat, letting the feet fall open, letting the arms come down by the sides into Shavasana. Tucking the shoulders underneath the body, letting the legs be completely relaxed, letting the arms be completely relaxed, letting the lower back be completely relaxed. Any issues in the lower back, bring the feet to the floor and let the knees roll in, or bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees roll out, which could be particularly restorative after all the hip and glute stuff we've been doing today. So pick your leg position. As you inhale, take the breath deep into the belly. And then as you exhale, make it 2 counts longer than your inhale. So however long your inhale is, extend your exhale by a further 2 counts. Inhaling until your body has enough oxygen that it needs. And then as you exhale, just extend that exhale for 2 counts. And then completely allow your body to relax in Savasana, in corpse pose. And then whilst you're laid, relaxing in Shavasana, I just have a little poem to share with you this evening that I read today. Take time to reach out. Take time to care. Take time to encourage. Take time to share. Take time to listen with compassion in mind. And make sure you always take time to be kind. And gently bring the awareness back to your body. Maybe wiggling your fingers and toes. Maybe circling through the ankles and wrists. Maybe rolling the head from side to side. Move your body in whatever way it craves. If you want to stretch, stretch. If you want to curl up in a ball, curl up in a ball. If you want to twist, then twist. And then when you're ready, come up into seated. And we'll finish with 3 deep breaths together. We're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth for 3 deep breaths. If you'd like to do lion's breath, then really stretch your chest forward and stick your tongue out as far as it will go. So all together, nice big inhale. Thank you for coming to practice with me this evening. Hopefully you are moving better and breathing better and feeling better.